With housing prices on the rise in many cities, like right here in Fort Collins, Colorado, it can really make it difficult for young people to get ahead in life. Today, we've traveled to Fort Collins to meet one young couple who made a brilliant decision to stay out of debt by going tiny. Hey SB!
Hi!
Great to meet you.
You as well.
G'day Matt, how's it going, mate?
Good.
This is quite a spot you have found for your tiny house, isn't it?
Thanks. Yeah, we love it.
Now, I actually haven't come across too many tiny houses that are parked in RV parks as full-timers, but this is a great way of actually finding a good parking spot for a tiny house, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
We weren't sure we wanted to stay here forever when we got here, so this is a great temporary parking situation until we get our own land wherever we want to stay for longer.
And what was it that actually inspired building a tiny house on wheels?
Yeah, so I'd always kind of wanted to live in a tiny house and live tiny, and we got married, we were renting, and we decided to move out here, and this was the best way to do it.
I started looking at going to grad school out here in Colorado, and we had just paid off student loans and our car, and we were debt free, and just the cost of living out here was so much more expensive than Oklahoma, so we started looking into alternatives. Matt had been interested in tiny houses far before we even met. Then we
One of the
started
first
hanging out.
things we joked around about as friends was moving to Colorado and living in a tiny house community. So
Here we are.
here we are.
It was all a big joke then, but now it's real.
And it is a gorgeous looking tiny house. Did you actually build this one yourselves?
Thank you. We did. My dad builds custom homes for a living, so he helped us. We designed everything and he helped us come to life.
What size is the home?
20 feet by 8.5, so if you include the loft, about 200 square feet of living space.
So here at the RV park, are you able to live year round?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just had
live
our
here
first
year-round.
winter last year.
And when it comes to parking at an RV park, can I ask how the rent is here compared to, for example, if you were renting an apartment in town or something like that?
So rent here is about half of what it would be for a studio apartment in town, and the bonus is that this feels like home.
And also this is an asset, right? This is actually something that you own that is yours to keep as opposed to just throwing rent away that you never see again.
Absolutely, yeah.
And can you tell me a little bit about the materials that you've used here on the exterior?
We didn't spare any weight for sure, so this is all composite wood siding, it's wood framed. We did go with the aluminum windows, so there's a little bit of weight saving there, but we didn't skimp by any means.
Well, I cannot wait to see what you've done on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on in.
Thank you very much. This is adorable.
Thank you.
I love the ceiling. Is that beetle kill pine?
It's not actually. It is white pine with a gray stain on it.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we love the look of beetle kill, but it was a little hard to get our hands on in Oklahoma, so we went with this alternative.
The whole design, it's so light, it just looks beautiful. Can you tell me a little bit about the design inspiration in here?
It's definitely what you might call farmhouse style. I wasn't going exactly for that, but we did like the idea of something that was really simple and minimal, and then whatever, we can add accents of whatever colors or anything that we like along the way. Plus the white just really opens the space up and doesn't feel like we're living in a tiny box.
The wood stove was something I always really dreamt of having in a house, tiny or big, and something I kind of wanted to work around to make that work in our home.
I'm very similar to that actually, because I just have this philosophy that a home isn't really a home until it's got a fireplace, right?
Yeah,
We agree.
absolutely.
Yeah. Also, tell me a little bit about what you've done for the insulation in this home.
So all 6 sides, all 4 walls, roof and floor are closed cell foam insulation. We knew we were coming to a colder climate, so all of our plumbing and everything is encapsulated in the insulation, so we don't have any issues with freezing in the winter, and it keeps it really nice and cool in the summer as well.
Obviously, in a tiny house, storage is always a big deal. Can you tell me about that?
Well, we've tidied up quite a bit for you. So we have a lot of storage in the kitchen. That is a place where we're not lacking in storage at all. All these awesome custom cabinets that my dad built for us. We have a little bit of a storage loft here, which was always like, will we do it? Will we know? And we're glad that we went with that because we have a nice little library and craft supplies and things up there. But then we also have this storage here. These are all storage benches under here, so we can keep our, guest bedding and camping supplies and things like that out of the way. Things we don't need to get to every day, but like to have handy. So that's most of our storage there.
So you mentioned that under there you've got some guest bedding. How does guest accommodation work in here?
We've yet to have guests stay here with us, but it is an option. This piece here is actually a guest bed that folds out once all of this is moved. It has a little leg that pops down here, and it's a full-size bed, I believe.
Just a little
Cushions
under.
just go back on top, so it's nice and cozy.
And then is that a little fold-down table you've got there?
It is. So this is where we eat every day. It's got some pretty heavy-duty magnets on the legs, and it just folds down like so. Nice and cozy place to eat or do work or whatever.
Fantastic. And then one of you or both of you are musicians?
I play a little bit of guitar and other instruments. I had to get rid of a few of them. The guitars, first one I started with, so I had to keep that.
And then talk to me a little bit about your kitchen.
Yeah, so we like to cook, and the kitchen was something that we wanted to dedicate quite a bit of space to in our tiny house. Having lots of counter space was something that I really wanted to have, and it just makes practical living so much easier, having room to work and just room to cook and prep and everything.
I love what you've done actually by splitting the kitchen design as well and having the bench over here and then the cooking space over there by reclaiming some of the area under the stairs, because that must make it a lot easier to actually work together in the kitchen.
Definitely. It was sort of an accident how that worked out. We were trying to make plumbing as simple as possible, so we kept the shower and the sink on the same wall, and then propane hot water heater, the tankless hot water heater, and the propane stove on the same wall. So that way it just kind of accidentally worked out.
And it looks like tucked away under the stairs there, you've got a pretty minimalist wardrobe set up.
Not quite minimalist, but on our way there.
Right.
Yeah, everything's tucked away there. We do have one of our cubbies dedicated to off-season clothing, so that helps a bit. But all of our clothes generally are there.
And it looks like you've got most of the necessary kitchen appliances there. Do you want to talk to me about those?
So the refrigerator is just an apartment-sized fridge we actually ordered on the internet, I believe. That was delivered to us. Mm-hmm. It's kind of tricky to find just the right size, but that one ended up fitting perfectly in the kitchen. The stove came from Matt's dad's old travel trailer from like the 1970s. So we kind of reduce, reuse, recycle there, and it was free.
I love the sink as well. This is a really nice addition.
Thank you. We weren't sure if we would have laundry facilities in particular wherever we would be at the time. So we went with the extra large sink so we could do hand washing laundry. I also do a few like natural dyeing of yarns and things. So that provides extra space for that kind of craft time too.
And then is that the bathroom tucked away back there?
It is, back there in the very back.
Can we check it out?
Of course.
Absolutely.
All right.
So this is our bathroom. We just made it the width of whatever our shower stall would be. So I believe it's 34 by 34, just enough space for what you need. We've got the Nature's Head composting toilet and some creative storage solutions back there on the back wall. So we've got a hex shelf hanging on this back wall to hold just some personal care items. This lovely little, I think it was originally a fruit dish or something of the sort that we hung in the bathroom under the window where I can put makeup on and everything. Uh-huh. And then behind this door, we've got some shelving hidden away back there.
Nice.
Yeah.
And can we see what you've done upstairs?
Of course, let's go.
I like what you've done with the stair design as well, actually having the first step up here on the bench seat as well, because it does actually just make everything a little bit more compact, doesn't it?
It does, definitely. We definitely wanted stairs instead of a ladder, just for ease of getting up and down in the night.
Can I give it a try?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. This is very sweet. It is definitely a very cozy space up in this loft, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, designed for sleeping for sure.
Not for any vertical activities.
So when you started this tiny house build, had you ever done a project like this before?
No. Nothing even close.
I worked on my dad's labor crew for his house building company for a couple summers, but other than that, nothing that we designed from beginning to end. My favorite game growing up was design a house. So like for fun, I had done that, but not anything seriously until this.
I think total, all the materials were close to 18,000.
Yeah.
We paid for a plumber to do the propane, but that's the only thing other than insulation that we contracted out. So we saved a lot of money there.
And how long have you actually been living in the tiny house now?
We've been living here for about a year.
Little over a year.
Yeah.
And how are you finding tiny house life?
I love it.
No regrets.
Not at all. We've been together 6 years.
Married for a little over 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people we know were skeptical when we started talking about tiny living, especially since we were fairly newly married. But we have found that our communication skills have just continued to improve.
By necessity.
By necessity, but it hasn't been all that painful.
No, it's been a great experience, and living with your best friend, it's hard to imagine doing anything else. Like,
Yeah.
we love it.
I think the only other challenge that sometimes arises is that I really need like my personal space after work. But luckily Matt really likes to play outside a lot. So he has his afternoon outside playtime and I get to come relax a bit before we come together for dinner in the evenings.
We're here quite a bit, but we're also out doing things a lot just because it is such a small space. So we're at coffee shops, we're
Out hiking.
out, riding bikes and doing things outside. So nice way to live.
And so what do you think the future will hold for you both?
You know, we're really just open to whatever comes, like, and just having the availability and the flexibility to go where we need to go, when we need to go, without being tied down to any certain place. I don't know.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah.
We would like to own some land someday and have a space of our own that's not an RV 10 feet away. But until then, it's nice just knowing that the option to go is there.
There really are so few housing options that give you that kind of freedom just to be able to pack up and move as a tiny house on wheels. And I think you have done such a brilliant job in building a beautiful home in this one. Thank you so much for sharing it with me.
Thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Thank you. As a young married couple, the future is full of promise, and you never really know where life's going to take you. So building a tiny house on wheels, something that can actually just travel with you wherever you go, I really can't think of a better housing solution. For SB and Matt, this really is a beautiful first home.